If your Shopify sales look like this, watch until the end. Hey there, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to Ecom Daily, the only YouTube channel currently posting every single day on Shopify related topics to help you grow your Shopify sales and your store. So today we're going to be talking about 3 huge Facebook ad mistakes new Shopify store owners make here in 2018. So be on the lookout because some of them might be mistakes that you're currently making and you want to definitely avoid them. So I don't want to go and drag on too long, but let's jump straight into this here now. So the very first mistake that I see a lot of people making when they just get into Facebook ads is they start optimizing for conversions too soon. So as I'm here into the Facebook ad manager, I want to go ahead and just show you exactly what I mean by this. So currently, you can go ahead and see that when you start off creating your ad, you can actually optimize for specific objectives. Now, Facebook ad outlines and has a ton of different ad objectives that you can go ahead and here and choose from. But a lot of people really like to, especially when they're just getting started with Shopify, jump straight for the conversion objective and then go ahead into their conversion ads and then optimize for the purchase event within the conversion ads, within the conversion objective, sorry. And really and truly, that's not going to get you where you need to be. And I'm going to explain here why in a moment, but I want you to go ahead and actually ask yourself here for a question. I want you to actually ask yourself here for a moment. When's the last time you actually went into, a store immediately? You just clicked through to a store on the very first ad, and then you instantly made a purchase? Probably never. And that's exactly the mentality that you need to have when starting your Shopify store and running your very first ads. A lot of times people are blinded by the different kinds of conversion types available to them, and they think that instantly optimizing for the purchase event is going to give them the best chance at acquiring sales, when in reality it's probably the worst thing you can actually do when you're starting off your Facebook ads. And the reason why is because, firstly, nobody knows your brand, nobody knows the product you're selling, and just by them clicking through to your store doesn't mean that they're going to convert. They might not even really consider the product because, once again, they have no idea of your brand. They don't trust your brand. You haven't built up any sort of relationship with them. So what's the reason for them even considering purchasing anything from you to begin with? You need to actually go ahead and follow the marketing objectives. And I always see people, once again, jumping straight for the conversion objective when you can clearly see sort of the hierarchy right here of different objectives that you can choose from and what would be the best course of action for your ad set. Now, so currently here you're going to see that there is, once again, 3 objectives: awareness, consideration, and conversion. So why would you be jumping for the final stage when it's clearly outlined that you would initially want to build up awareness, then go ahead and have people consider your product, and then optimize for conversions once they're already familiar and have built up a relationship with your brand? It's very straightforward, and it's a very good way to go out and think of creating your campaigns. So firstly, I want to go out and just say that you can probably skip the awareness section. I personally have never really run too many awareness ads, but especially with your store, you absolutely always, in most cases, need to run consideration run for the consideration objective. So what I would typically go ahead and use is I would go ahead and run either a paid post engagement ad or I would run video views ads. And sometimes when I'm trying to go ahead and actually acquire leads, for those of you who are lead based businesses, you can go ahead and do lead generation and then send them on over to your opt-in pages, or you could opt them. And what I really like currently doing now for my leads is I like to go ahead and run the messages ad type. And what that basically allows you to go ahead and do is run ads and then have people follow up with you within Messenger, which gives you really high opt-in rates and allows you to really connect with people, on a very one-to-one basis, as you can pretty much instant message them through the Messenger platform. And it really helps you build up that, relationship and trust with, your potential, customer base, very quickly. So that's something actually to watch out here for in 2018, because it wasn't something that's been here for quite some time, but the messages ad type I've been testing myself and I've been working with for a little while now, and it's definitely something that you should also consider using if you're looking to get, once again, if you're a lead-based business and you really want to go ahead and get in some more one-on-one time with your potential clients or customers. But once again, coming back to it, you really need to go ahead and consider that you should run engagement or video views. Video views will get you more, once again, more views, more traction, and video, I find, in my own opinion, builds up the relationship process faster, as if you can really somehow convey your brand's message within a video. It really allows you to go ahead and connect with them on a one-on-one basis, as video always is more engaging than just simply writing a post and attaching a picture to it. So I always recommend doing video ads if you can, video view ad types if you can, unless and then if you can't, always run for engagement. Either way is fine, but it's up to you to determine and test for yourself exactly what's going to work. But once you've gone ahead and for instance ran your engagement ad, once you've gone your video views ad, the next thing you want to be checking out for is the relevancy score of these ads, and you want to make sure that your relevancy score is always between 7 to 10. If you're having a 6 is all sort of on the edge, I would say that with a relevancy score of 6, you can always consider perhaps optimizing it so that it can reach that 7 to 10 range. But for the most part, you always want to be within that 7 to 10 gap for your relevancy score. And the reason being is because your relevancy score is basically how well your ad is performing within the targeting that you've selected, and how well people are responding to your ad. So that's really a good metric for determining then how well this audience might convert to your store. It's basically a way of pre-vetting the process. It's basically a pre-vetting process, as I mentioned, and it allows you to go out and gauge, whether the audience has any interest in your brand as well as your products. And this is, a really good starter way to go ahead and begin your campaigns. And then what you can basically go ahead and do, and which is what I'm going to lead up into the other mistakes that I see people making, is then you can go ahead and retarget people to go ahead and have them convert, afterwards. What you can basically go ahead and do is then create conversion ads for the same audience afterwards, and then go ahead and retarget that same audience to go ahead and bring about the initial sales to your store, the initial traction, and the initial once again, after the consideration phase or the awareness phase, you would then jump into asking them if they would like to make any purchases from you. This is a way of giving them value up front and then asking and then pitching them afterwards and getting them to actually purchase something from you. Doing a pitch first and not giving any value is extremely hard to profit from. You might get a sale, but it's not going to be a profitable sale in most cases. So I'd say this is my biggest piece of advice here, and this is something that you need to go in and understand for yourself. There's many videos on running different types of engagement ads, view ads, but a lot of times it comes down to the theory, and I feel like this is really important. So please do understand that. And if this is helping you at all, by all means, feel free to go ahead and just subscribe down below, because we're currently trying to get to 100 subscribers within the next month. So if you're getting value out of these videos that I'm putting out, please go ahead and subscribe right now. It only takes 2 seconds. And now we're going to go ahead and jump into the second biggest reason that, and the second hugest mistake new Shopify dropshippers especially are making, and new store owners are making, when using Facebook ads, which is going to be targeting too broadly, which is very, very simple of a process to go ahead and, fix. And I'm going to go ahead and explain you here as I jump into the engagement ad type here. But what I want to go ahead and just say right now is one of the biggest reasons that people, have or don't get the audience choice or don't get the relevancy score, as I mentioned, that they want, is because likely they're not targeting the right audience, and they're not flex targeting, which is basically intersecting interests, and which I'm going to go ahead and do here live with you now. But for the most part, this is something that's a very simple process to do, and I'm going to go ahead and explain it. But it's something that so many people get wrong, and I don't really understand why. So if you're one of these people, be sure to make sure that you're not making this mistake. So basically, targeting too broadly is when you go ahead and just use a single interest base for your ad. So for instance, if I want to go down to detailed targeting, I could go ahead and target any pretty much interest that Facebook has available to me. So for the sake of going ahead and making this simple, I'm going to say that let's just say hypothetically I have a dog store. So what people might go ahead and do is then go ahead and research within the detailed targeting, and then go ahead and do the interest base for dogs. And they might go ahead and just target dog owners, which should be an interest here available. So you can go ahead and actually there isn't. So what you can go ahead and do is you can just search, via dogs, and a lot of people will go ahead and just instantly assume that their ad is ready to go. As you can see on the side, we're reaching a lot of people, but the total potential reach is going to be 2.3 million people. So basically, you're really diluting your audience size, and it's just way too broad. So people aren't going to be very, very focused onto what your product, the product that you're offering specifically is, and they're not going to really feel that one-on-one with you as much as there's tons of people that perhaps like dogs on Facebook. There's people, I perhaps even like dogs on Facebook, and I don't even have a dog myself. So that's something to just go ahead and say, do you really think that all 2.3 million people are interested and passionate about dogs, or passionate even dog owners? Obviously not. You really need to go ahead and intersect target, or flex targeting as many people call it, which is basically going ahead and intersecting different detailed targeting 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 interests to go ahead and then conform and create your own personalized, targeting sort of interest base. So what you can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and actually include for more people. So let me just do that again. You can see I can go ahead and either narrow the audience or exclude people. So currently I'm going to go ahead and actually narrow the audience down here. And what I can go ahead and then do is then look for, basically sub interests within the dog interest category, and then consider adding that so that I can go ahead and pretty much narrow my audience down. So basically people need to basically like dogs, but then they also need to like the second interest that I'm going to go ahead here and pick. So I'm going to go ahead and pick dog lovers. So now they have to like dogs and dog lovers. As soon as I've gone ahead and done that, the potential reach has gone down incredibly, nearly it's way less than even half of what the last interest base was. So now the potential reach is only 300,000 people. And as you can go on and see, that's, just the power of, flex targeting. And a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people just like to go on and single target or even dual target, people as well. Literally, most of the times I use three different audience, three separate different audiences till I can conform and create, a really custom audience that I can really see having a high relevancy score for. And once again, when you have high relevancy scores, your ad costs are also lower. So it's a really win-win situation. But for the most part, you always want to make sure your potential reach is always between, I would say, the 250 to 750,000 range. Some people like to say it can be under 1 million, and that's fine. I would say maybe 200 to 600,000 would probably be best. But you always want to make sure that you're not more than 750,000, a potential reach for sure. So that's something always to consider. Once again, these are going to be your prime targeted potential audience. So you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your ads, and you're getting the most once again through the relevancy score that you create. And the only way that you're gonna get that is through really going detailed with your targeting. And for instance, you might be not selling, and this is just me continuing hypothetically as though I had a dog store. Always niche even further down. So not there's many different dog breeds. There's many different types of dogs. What if we were just going to go out and specifically target pit bulls? So I could go out and just now look for specifically dog lovers, but then I can go ahead and also look up the pit bull interest. And then we're niching down, and now we actually have too little of a potential reach, which can sometimes happen. You can still go ahead and test this out because it may be a really targeted and profitable ad, but for the most part, I always feel as though anything under 100,000 for potential reach is a little bit too little of an audience to go ahead and actually profit from, because once again, you have to find that sweet spot in between where you don't have too many people, but you don't have not enough people. When you have not enough people, you're still ending up spending a lot to reach to get this potential reach, and it's not going to be worth it. So always remember the sweet spot, I would say, is between 200 to 600,000 or 250 to 750,000, but no higher and and not fewer. So once again, I always also recommend that for your detail targeting and your flex targeting that you also choose at least 3 interest bases to intersect through, and then make sure that follow up by making the secondary prerequisite for making sure that your ad is very conversion focused is being within that sweet spot for potential reach. But for the most part, I see many people doing this, and a lot of people also only target, and I'm actually for some reason targeting the Netherlands specifically, which is why the potential reach is so low. But if I were to go ahead and target specifically the United States, the potential reach will go up. And I can't type to save my life here. But to go ahead and just show you right here, the United States. Okay, so now the potential reach has gone up to 4.8 million people. So you see, I would still then go ahead and have to continue, including people within my interest base. So and I can go ahead and include several interests within one detailed targeting position right here. And then I can go ahead and, for instance, I can go ahead and target dog people. People need to be interested in dogs and dog lovers within this, and then it would intersect with this interest base right here, which would be pit bulls. And there's many different ways about going and doing this, but I always recommend intersecting 3 different times. and working your way down until you meet the prerequisite that I've set. And always, you also mention, and I should have mentioned this previously, a lot of people don't set their location as worldwide, but when in reality you should be specifically targeting within, a specific country. So for instance, if your prime, target audience, and a lot of this is, based on drop shipping as well, but if you're drop shipping, it's most likely going to be the United States. If you're, once again, if you're if you're a regular retailer or you own a brick and mortar store, you can go on and just target basically within your own country. So whether it be the Netherlands, anywhere within Europe, so the United Kingdom or Australia, you would naturally want to target only that country. If you go ahead and target too broadly within your location settings, obviously you're going to also dilute your and increase your potential reach too much, and that's not going to fit within the prerequisite that we set. So that's something that you should also go ahead and check out. But this is a huge mistake that people make, and it's just something that you should also consider. And you can even get even more specific with age ranges and as well as genders. Whether if you're running a women's beauty store, obviously you're not going to target all, because why would you target men if it's a women's beauty store? So these are all things to go ahead and consider with your ads. But I always start with the detailed targeting, because a lot of people get that wrong, and it's something that you should go ahead and actually consider. So moving forward, I want to go ahead and jump now into the third biggest reason that people make mistakes with their store, which is going to be not retargeting the audiences that they've promoted to. So as I mentioned earlier on, it's a really step-by-step process. You can't automatically assume that you're going to get conversions through the consideration phase, but then you can't also just jump into the conversion phase and optimize for the purchase event immediately and expect to get sales. It's once again, it's a whole relationship building process, and managing to build trust and rapport, as well as build respect for, up within your brand, and have people actually look up to your brand in a positive light. So it takes time to go ahead and achieve this. And once again, we were talking about earlier the consideration phase and different types of ads that you can actually go ahead and run. And once again, once you've gone ahead and run, through this consideration objective, once again, the main objective being that you're trying to build awareness for your brand, you're trying to build awareness for the product that you're selling, and you're trying to get people interested in actually wanting to make that purchase. And then also, you're optimizing for them actually trusting you, which would come through either, responding to the engagement you receive on your posts, or, you could just reaching out and doing follow-up engagement ads to build up that relationship. But what you can go ahead and do after you've done that is actually retarget that same audience, and retarget them with the intent for them to actually convert, whether it be for site visitors, or whether it be for the purchase event, or even just add to carts. I always optimize personally for the add to cart when I'm trying to go ahead and retarget. But the mistake I see so many people making is just not retargeting and not taking advantage of the audiences they've already promoted to basically re-promote to them and sort of hash their potential interest for your products. And that's really how you actually get sales. A lot of times, people aren't going to purchase on the very first time they visit your store, even if you've invested into the engagement ads prior, and if you've invested into the consideration phase. Even if they've viewed your ads prior, doesn't mean that they're going to instantly jump into your store and want to buy something instantly. You don't know where that person is at any given moment. Perhaps they're they're not even home. Perhaps they're on mobile. They're out somewhere. They're not even they're on the go. Basically, they're not necessarily in the buying mood. They're perhaps even in the car, or you don't exactly know where that person is at a given moment, and you're assuming that single visit, that single interaction with your store is the final end to your audience, or that single person, that single person's interest in your product, which is not the case. A lot of people just don't have, or either aren't in the buying mood, or haven't still yet considered purchasing it, so they instantly click away. But they might want to revisit it afterwards. But because you haven't even considered this, because you haven't even gone ahead and set up your retargeting ads, you pretty much just left money on the table for someone else to go ahead and take. And that's it's probably the worst thing that I see out of this entire list people go ahead and do, because you've spent so much money into the consideration phase, or you spent so many people in so much money in getting traffic to your store, and then you don't even consider retargeting them. You don't consider rehashing that interest and making sure that you're really making sure that they don't want the product. And after say, and you can even set this within your ad settings, after perhaps 4 to 5 visits. If they visited your store 4 to 5 times and they haven't, bought anything, then you can consider, consider them not having, any real merit to you, and you can stop promoting to that select group. But if people have only visited once, that's really only the beginning. That's where the sales actually start to roll in. And it's only when you really begin retargeting that you see real results. So I'm hoping that all of this you take into consideration, and I'm hoping that you really do take all of the, advantage of all the information within this video. And if you did, and if you got some value out of this, and you really think this is going to help you out with your Facebook ads, please go down below and hit subscribe. It only takes 2 seconds, and no, I'm not really asking for a lot. I would really just appreciate if you could go down and subscribe, and perhaps even leave a comment. What are some concerns you have with your Facebook ads currently? What's giving you the biggest issues? I'm here to personally help you out, so I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And even go down into the description if you want personal one-on-one help, as I'm currently helping about several people here that follow the channel with their stores, and how helping them with their ads as well as the issues that they're currently facing with their Shopify stores. I'm even giving out free designs to the people that join on the list down below. So go ahead and sign up if you're interested. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow.